Have you ever wondered why some men seem to move in silence, avoiding noise and drama, while observing the world with unshakable calm? On the official Sigma Male channel, we delve into the essence of the Sigma Male, that enigmatic figure many mistake for shyness, but whose true nature is a quiet strength, a strategic mind few can decipher. Sigma males are not like most, and this is where their appeal and danger lie. Often they are seen as loners, but behind that independence is an alert and calculating intelligence, an ability to read between the lines and stay 2 steps ahead. If you've ever felt that your life could benefit from a more reserved and wise approach, or wondered how some men maintain an unbreakable independence in a world that demands conformity, this video is for you. As you explore this perspective, you'll discover not only what a Sigma is, but also how you could cultivate this unique mindset yourself, avoiding the traps of dependence and gaining a strategic advantage. So if you're interested in learning the profound lessons that only a Sigma male can offer, subscribe to Official Sigma Male and join us on this journey towards true autonomy and inner strength. Flattering influential people, an annoyance for Sigma males. Sigma males often feel deep irritation at excessive flattery towards influential people. Why? Because this type of behavior feels empty and unnatural to them, and for them, authenticity is a fundamental virtue. When they see others dedicating themselves to flattering someone only to gain favor, they feel that the environment becomes fake, lacking any real purpose. It's not that they don't value genuine relationships, but they reject any appearance of opportunistic interest. Thus, flattery towards powerful figures is seen by them as an act of manipulation, incompatible with their respect for authenticity. Imagine the typical office scene, someone trying to capture the boss's attention with constant compliments. For a Sigma, this spectacle is like bad theater. They prefer that their connections are based on mutual respect, not on the need to impress. And if we're talking about examples, they tend to demonstrate their value through actions, not words, letting authenticity speak for itself. Instead of seeking validation from others, they prefer to focus on building their own path, demonstrating integrity and consistency at every step. For Sigmas, sincerity is non-negotiable. They aren't motivated by others' approval and don't feel the need to belong to circles of influence. They understand that a person's value lies in their character, not in the favors or titles they might offer. Therefore, their irritation towards those who flatter powerful figures is, in reality, a reflection of their respect for authenticity and their firm stance that everyone should shine for who they are, not for whom they seek to please. Manipulative generosity, an attempt at control. For a Sigma male, manipulative generosity is a subtle form of control disguised as kindness. They deeply value independence and can perceive when someone uses generosity as a tool to create emotional debts. It's not about rejecting a kind gesture, but about feeling that this gesture comes with a hidden price tag. It's a situation where the Sigma finds himself caught between accepting the kindness or getting involved in a relationship of dependency that he never asked for. Let's consider the example of a friend who always pays when they go out, but later uses it as an excuse to expect favors or absolute loyalty. The Sigma quickly detects this type of exchange disguised as friendliness. For him, true generosity doesn't seek control or imposed reciprocity. They prefer a sincere thank you and nothing more, making it clear that a genuine act of kindness should not come with hidden expectations. Sigmas know that an authentic person never turns their help into a tool to get something in return. Their focus is on cultivating relationships that are free, where acts of help or support don't imply future commitments. For them, Independence is one of their most prized values, and any attempt to restrict that freedom through manipulative generosity is perceived as a lack of respect. True connection is based on mutual freedom, without chains of favors or unspoken expectations. Playing the victim card, frustration for Sigma's accountability. For a Sigma male, the victim mentality is a barrier to personal growth and a path that leads to a lack of responsibility. They see in this behavior an unwillingness to face problems head-on, a tendency to seek excuses instead of solutions. When someone constantly presents themselves as a victim, the Sigma feels frustrated because they believe everyone has the power to take control of their life without resorting to pity as a means of validation. Imagine a friend who always complains that everything goes wrong but makes no effort to change their situation. Instead of generating empathy, this behavior distances Sigmas who value responsibility and proactivity. They understand that while life presents challenges, the way one responds defines one's character. So, instead of sympathizing, they prefer to motivate others to act, to avoid getting trapped in a cycle of complaints and self-pity. For a Sigma, accepting mistakes and taking the reins is the only way to move forward. They themselves practice this principle by avoiding excuses and accepting the consequences of their decisions. In this way, the victim mentality not only frustrates them, but represents the opposite of their values of self-management and resilience. Seeing others adopt the constant role of the victim reminds them that strength lies in responsibility, in accepting challenges without lamenting and facing them with determination. Telling half-truths, a break in trust. For a Sigma male, trust is a fundamental pillar in any relationship, and telling only half-truths is a betrayal of that principle. When someone chooses which part of the truth to share and which to withhold, the Sigma perceives it as a form of manipulation. To them, honesty is absolute. It has no gray areas or convenient fragments. Each half-truth becomes a barrier that, little by little, erodes the connection and makes it difficult to build a genuine bond. Let's think of someone who says one thing and then, when the situation changes, admits another part of the story. This kind of behavior sows doubts in the Sigma's mind, who begins to question if he can fully trust that person. Someone who withholds information or is ambiguous is, in their eyes, playing with transparency. And since the Sigma values straightforward, no-nonsense relationships, this act of omission is a violation of their code of authenticity. For Sigmas, being direct and frank is a rule of life. They prefer to hear the truth, no matter how harsh, rather than live in a decorated lie. If they ever consider there are details that should be reserved, they do so openly and without hiding their motives. In their view, a solid relationship can only endure if both parties are sincere and transparent, with no tricks or incomplete truths. That's why a lack of frankness becomes a boundary, a barrier that interferes with the authentic connection they value so much. Empty promises, when actions don't back up words. For a Sigma male, coherence between what is said and what is done is a sign of integrity, a value they do not compromise. When someone says one thing but acts oppositely, the Sigma interprets it as a sign of inconsistency and lack of authenticity. They firmly believe that words carry weight and that each promise, no matter how small, is a commitment. Thus, every contradiction between discourse and action becomes a sign of distrust. Imagine a colleague who promises to collaborate on a project, but when the time comes, withdraws or simply doesn't fulfill what they promised. This kind of situation generates deep frustration for the Sigma, who would value an honest no much more than a broken promise. For them, honesty goes hand in hand with responsibility, and they prefer to surround themselves with people who not only talk about their intentions, but actually follow through. Sigmas understand that not every path is easy. and that sometimes it's simpler to say something than to fulfill it. However, in their view, true integrity is tested through actions. That's why they prefer to act in silence and let their results speak for them. Their lives are based on a sense of responsibility and congruence, where words and actions are one and the same. Any contradiction between the two is, to them, a red flag and a barrier to deep relationships. Disregard for boundaries, an unacceptable lack of respect. For a Sigma male, respect for personal boundaries is an unbreakable value. When someone does not respect their boundaries, whether physical, emotional, or time-related, they perceive this act as a lack of consideration and respect for their independence. For them, boundaries aren't simply barriers, but spaces that represent their individuality and right to autonomy. Ignoring these boundaries is equivalent to disregarding who they are and what they value. Let's consider everyday situations, like a friend who insists on showing up unannounced or invading personal topics without asking. For a Sigma, this kind of invasion is uncomfortable and, above all, unnecessary. They value relationships built on mutual respect and expect that those close to them understand and respect their time and space. Without clear boundaries, they feel that the relationship becomes a burden rather than a genuine connection. Sigmas strive to set boundaries firmly, not because they want to isolate themselves, but because they know these are essential for a healthy relationship. They prefer that those around them understand that by respecting their boundaries, they are building a stronger and more solid bond. That's why they consider respect for personal boundaries a sign of maturity and mutual understanding, something they deeply value in their relationships. The emotional independence of the Sigma. By nature, the Sigma male chooses a life of independence and emotional detachment. This doesn't mean he can't form bonds, but that he is selective with those he allows into his world. This independence gives him an unusual advantage, as, by not being emotionally dependent on anyone, he's immune to manipulations and pressures that would affect others. For him, solitude is not a punishment, but an opportunity for reflection and strengthening his character. This autonomy also shows in how he deals with rejection or criticism. While many seek external approval and validation, the Sigma is self-sufficient. He doesn't need others' acceptance to feel complete, making him truly hard to control. For example, in a professional or personal relationship, he always keeps his boundaries clearly defined, making it clear that his worth doesn't depend on others' opinions. His life is built around his own goals and convictions, and he's able to make decisions without hesitation, even if it means going against the current. For him, independence is a life principle that guides each of his actions, and those who try to influence him find an impenetrable wall. This combination of detachment and determination is what makes him unique and, in turn, inspires respect and admiration in those who understand him. Mastery of handling tension. The Sigma handles tension like a true expert, showing unshakable calm that unsettles those who try to rile him up. No matter how intense the situation, he remains serene, observing and measuring every word and gesture. This ability to stay firm amidst chaos allows him to analyze clearly what others cannot see and use that advantage to his benefit. For him, emotions are data he processes, but they don't control him. This serenity in intense situations makes him a natural leader, even without intending to be one. In moments of crisis, people tend to turn to him for advice or direction, as his balance inspires confidence and security. It's as if he has an invisible shield protecting him from pressure, allowing him to think and act clearly. A Sigma never acts hastily. Each decision is a reflection of his calculating and stable mind. Through this control, he can influence others without needing to impose himself. His example alone is enough for those around him to adopt a calmer, more reflective stance. It's a type of silent leadership that generates respect without him actively seeking it, as his presence speaks for itself. This ability to handle tension not only sets him apart, but also allows him to gain the trust of those who seek stability amidst uncertainty. The hidden strength that emerges at the limit. When a Sigma male is pushed to the limit, a side of him few can imagine reveals itself. His usual calm hides a fierce determination that only emerges when truly necessary. He's not someone who seeks conflict, but if excessively challenged, his response can be relentless and precise. He's like a volcano that appears calm, but at the right moment releases all its contained strength, making it clear that underestimating him is a mistake. This type of response is not impulsive, but the result of a careful assessment of the situation. The Sigma knows that one should only act with intensity when truly necessary, and his usual serenity prepares him for those moments of high pressure. He can surprise those who thought they had him under control, as his reserved nature hides an inner strength unafraid of confrontations. In these moments, he shows that his character is much stronger than it appears. To those around him, this unexpected side of the Sigma can be intimidating, yet it also commands deep respect. Knowing that behind that calm exterior lies someone capable of defending his principles with determination makes him admirable. This ability to act only when necessary and do so with all his strength makes him a figure of respect and, in some cases, fear. Inner wealth, knowledge as strength. The Sigma is much more than a reserved presence. His mind is a true treasure chest of knowledge and accumulated experiences that few can decipher. Each experience, each mistake, and each success are stored within him, forming a solid foundation that allows him to act with confidence and wisdom. While others seek to fill the void with noise and superficiality, the Sigma knows his true strength comes from within, from that treasure trove of lessons he's gathered over time. It's this deep knowledge that allows him to navigate life with a confidence many envy. He knows when to speak and when to stay silent, and understands that each word should have a purpose. For example, if he decides to give advice, it's because he genuinely believes it can help, not because he's seeking recognition or applause. His way of communicating is direct and authentic, making him a natural mentor, someone others turn to for guidance. This inner wealth is what sets him apart from those who only seek to impress without any real substance. His life reflects his dedication to continuous learning and introspection, elements that keep him always a step ahead. Although many may never fully understand the depth of his being, those privileged to do so know they're in the presence of someone unique who doesn't need to stand out to be valued. Now that you've explored the mind and character of a Sigma male, the question remains: are you ready to apply these principles to your own life? Adopting this mindset is not only a path to independence, but to a life where you're in control, not swayed by others' expectations or pressures. Would you dare to be as resilient and enigmatic as a Sigma, or do you prefer to follow the usual rules? On Official Sigma Male, we're committed to providing content that challenges your perspective and helps build unbreakable inner strength. So, if you want to continue on this journey of self-discovery and learn more about transforming your life in silence, subscribe and turn on notifications. Don't settle for less. Here, you'll find the tools to develop your most powerful version.